Is geskakel op 'n groot plaas en is tyd vir plaaspraatjies op 'n maandag. Nou vandag is baie erg oor kunsmatige intelligensie. Ons begin met robotte wat koeie melk. In 'n moderne melkplase wêreldwyd sien ons 'n groot skuif na outomatisering met robotte wat nou die melkproses heeltemal oorneem. Nou wat dit besonder maak is dat koeie self kan besluit wanneer hulle gemelk wil word. Die diere beweeg vrylik na die melkstasie waar lasers en sensors die proses bestuur en elke koei se gesondheid en melkproduksie monitor. Aanvanklik was daar weerstand van die diere, maar baie vinnig het hulle aangepas en toon selfs minder stres. Hierdie tegnologie help boere om arbeid te bespaar, produktiwiteit te verhoog en beter data oor hulle kuddes te kry. Dit wys hoe tegnologie nie net die boer se lewe makliker maak nie, maar ook die welstand van die diere kan verbeter. Nou, slimvoer tegnologie weer eens met kunsmatige intelligensie is besig om ons boere te help. Nuwe tegnologie in die veeboerdery gebruik nou kunsmatige intelligensie en kameras om voerkwaliteit in real-time te ontleed. Hierdie stelsels kyk na faktore soos die tekstuur, die kleur en die samestelling van die voer en pas dan outomaties die verwerking aan om optimale voeding vir die diere te verseker. Nou, die resultaat is beter groei, gesonder diere en meer doeltreffende produksie. Vir boere beteken dit minder raaiwerk en meer presisie in hoe hulle diere voer. Hierdie ontwikkeling is deel van die groter tendens waar data en tegnologie gebruik word om elke aspek van boerdery te verfyn en wys hoe selfs iets so eenvoudig soos voer nou deur slim stelsels bestuur kan word. En dan natuurlik in 'n waterskaars land soos Suid-Afrika is waterslim boerdery natuurlik die opsie. Met water wat al hoe skaarser raak, draai boere toenemend na tegnologie om elke druppel optimaal te gebruik. Moderne besproeiingsstelsels gebruik sensors in die grond om vogvlakke akkuraat te meet en bepaal presies wanneer en hoeveel water toegedien moet word. Hierdie data-gedrewe benadering help om watervermorsing te verminder en terselfdertyd oesopbrengste te verbeter. In droë gebiede kan hierdie tegnologie die verskil maak tussen wins en verlies. Dis 'n goeie voorbeeld van hoe innovasie nie net op help om hulpbronne te bespaar nie, maar ook om boerdery meer volhoubaar en winsgewend te maak in 'n veranderende klimaat. Dit is ons stories vir plaaspraatjies vir vandag. Ons sal volgende maandag weer so maak. Bly ingeskakel. Net hierna gesels ons met professor Stuart Pimms. Welkom terug op GROOTplaas. Ons gas saam met ons vanoggend is Professor Stuart Pimms, and he is an extraordinary professor at the University of Pretoria's Conservation Ecology Research Unit, also from Doris Duke, Professor of Conservation at the Nicholas School of Environment at Duke University, North Carolina, USA. Professor, good morning and welcome to GROOTplaas.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Thank you for having me on the program.
So,
I'm very well indeed, thank you.
Professor, first of all, what is this global wildlife decline study that you've been challenging?
Well, a very large international conservation organization wants to tell everybody that we've lost 75% of our wildlife within the last 40 or 50 years or so. I think that's really unfortunate because it's clear for Africa at least, and I think other places, that that's not true. If you look at southern Africa, and by that my colleagues and I mean everywhere south of the middle of Tanzania southwards, we're doing a remarkably good job of managing species. There are more elephants now in southern Africa than there've been in 25 years. So we think that sort of doom mongering of saying, that we're all going to hell is not really appropriate.
So why do you say that the 70% decline figure is not accurate?
Well, I think experience in South Africa shows that. I mean, many people think, elephants are going to go extinct. Well, no. I mean, Kruger is worried again about having too many elephants. The elephants at Addo are on contraceptives, as they are on many smaller reserves in southern Africa. There are wonderful examples. One of my favorite animals is the black wildebeest, which I think is just the coolest looking wildebeest. It's glossy black with a white fluffy tail. That has been rescued from the very brink of extinction in the Cape. So there's a lot of good conservation stories. There are a lot of problems, but I think we have to work to solve those problems rather than to scaremonger.
So, Professor, except for the Kruger that you've mentioned now with the elephants, what other evidence from Africa contradicts the idea of this global collapse?
Well, if you look across southern Africa, it's pretty much the same story. My colleagues and I at the Conservation Ecology Research Unit have shown that across much of southern Africa, elephant populations are holding their own. There's no doubt that in the past there were problems with poaching, but the problems now are of a different kind. We have to work with local communities who obviously don't always enjoy having, lions and elephants and other, big animals next to them. I think we've got to concentrate on our successes and what we can learn from them. And concentrate on the very real problems that we have, which are not a 75% decline.
Now, Professor, you've mentioned also that wildlife populations respond very well when they are properly protected. Why is this?
Oh, I think it's obvious that the reason that a lot of species have declined in the first place was that we hunted too many of them. Case of elephants, we poached them. Rhinos, there's been poaching. If we leave these animals alone, they'll do just fine. And across, an area, people outside of Africa don't realize how big it is. Southern Africa is the size of, the continental United States. It's a huge area. Across that area, wildlife is doing really well if we don't hunt it, kill it, shoot it illegally.
So why specifically was sub-Saharan Africa used as a stress test in the study?
If you're worried about global declines of wildlife, sub-Saharan Africa is the place where you test that idea. It's an area where the human population has increased by 3.5 times in 50 years. There's a lot of areas that are poor. This is a challenging area to manage our natural world, but South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe have done a really good job. So it's a way of testing a place that you would not expect to have done well, but it really has done a good job.
Do you think this comes down to the government playing a big part or private conservation actually encouraging education in this area?
I think it's a combination of both. The government has played a role. We've got very effective national parks, but conservation is always local. You're not going to have effective conservation if the local communities don't buy into that. That's not always the case, but across much of the area, local communities realize that they benefit from the tourism of having people come to see Southern Africa's wildlife. So I think it's not just the government; it's the government, good local NGOs. There's really great science going on in Southern Africa. I'm very privileged to come and spend part of my year in South Africa as a scientist. I think it's a collaboration of a lot of different people.
So has conservation then shifted from saving species to actually just managing overpopulation?
Well, I think everybody is worried about these overpopulation issues. Nobody wants to go back to the time 25 years ago when Kruger was culling elephants. Nobody is really happy about putting them on the contraceptives. The challenge is trying to connect elephant populations. So imprisoning elephant populations behind fences doesn't work. We have to find ways of connecting populations as as South Africa did with Mozambique, connecting Kruger to what is now Limpopo National Park about 25 years ago. I think it's our ability to give elephants freedom to roam, room to roam, and other wildlife too. I don't want to just concentrate about them. We need to make the connections between our protected areas functional, and I think, difficult though that might be, that's the solution that we need.
Now, you mentioned your favorite animal being the black wildebeest. Can you explain the recovery story of that animal?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible conservation story that not enough people know around the world. It was an animal that was reduced to just a very small number of individuals on, I believe, private ranches in the Cape. And now it's been brought back from the edge of extinction. It's there are populations in all sorts of places that you can see. And every time I see them, I think, hey, you know, we always get bad environmental news. That's good environmental news. That shows what we can do when we put our minds to it.
So has better data changed the story of wildlife decline?
I think it has. I think what we can say is across, you know, Southern Africa that very good people are getting a handle on how many animals we have, where they are. We have a better idea about their movements from putting satellite collars on them, which is helpful to understanding where they go, where the management problems are. I think the science we're doing in Southern Africa is very good. As I said, I'm very proud to be part of that. And I think that's making a difference. But we're doing that because the public supports that.
Professor, what are the dangers of exaggerating biodiversity loss?
I think they are very dangerous indeed. I think it's an attempt on the part of some organizations to say, look, you know, the world's going to hell, then give us a lot more money. Well, you know, there are problems, but we need to identify what those problems are and solve those problems, not some imaginary ones. You know, it's no good telling people that everything's going towards extinction when it's not, because that's not the problem we need to solve. And by solving the very real issues of, can we connect populations, can we make our national parks bigger, can we make sure that everybody benefits from our protected areas, those are the challenges. You know, I think it detracts from the great efforts that many very good professionals across Southern Africa have achieved.
Now, Professor, quickly, we have 15 seconds. What do you think should scientists do differently when communicating conservation data?
We need to celebrate the successes as well as telling people about the problems. Yes, we have problems, but let's focusing on the problems, but let's also celebrate our successes and learn from them.
Professor, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. Dis ons gas op GROOTplaas vanoggend, Professor Stuart Pimms, en hy is natuurlik van die Universiteit van Pretoria se Conservation Ecology Research Unit, en dan is hy ook betrokke in Amerika. Dis al waarvoor ons tyd het vir GROOTplaas vir vanoggend. Ons hoop jy het lekker saam met ons gekuier, en dan sien ons mekaar weer regstreeks môreoggend.